dark warning is coming for America from the elite. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor that's due to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rachah HaKodash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect. Shalom Barakathum. And I'm going to play a little bit of this video from Dabu 7. It's been a minute since I've reacted to him. Honestly, I think his channel might have just fell off the radar. I be subscribed, other brothers' pages too. I be subscribed, and I just stopped getting the notifications. But anyway, it says we should be stockpiling bullets. America's most powerful banker warns to stockpile guns and ammo. All right, so you know what that means. They always see ahead of what we see, obviously, right? But when you tell the average everyday person, it really doesn't matter if you tell them or not. I mean, these people are absolutely through. They're out of there, man. Let's listen.
What's up, guys? Dabu 7 back at you again. We've got America's most powerful banker telegraphing, I believe, the event that's about to happen. If you look at what he says and you read between the lines, he's dropping all the signals and all the warnings that a big event's about to happen. He doesn't do this in a way that's going to cause a lot of people to panic. He does it in a nonchalant way because that's how they have to do it, but he gets it out there and the point is made. He starts off by saying that we should be investing in bullets, in tanks, drones, all this type of stuff. That's where this whole thing starts. But then, out of nowhere, he says there's going to be a crack in the bond market. And he says, I don't know if it's going to be 6 months or if it's going to be within 6 years, but it's going to happen. Now, he goes on to say that his friends tell him that, oh, we love a crisis and all this, which is the elite do. They never let a good crisis go to waste. But this one's going to be different. I'm telling you, it's going to directly affect the bank. He don't like what's coming. He told his friends, not really. Not all crises are good, because this time, what he really can't tell you flat out is that banks are going bye-bye. Mm-hmm. They will no longer be needed.
Yep.
As soon as this transition into the digital realm is complete and they do away with fiat, they just stop printing the pennies, minting them. Nickel is next up on the chopping block.
Mm-hmm.
Within a couple years, all the change is just going to be wiped out. And they're telling businesses to round up. So this is going to cause everything that you buy to be rounded up.
And so they said this, openly, but we know the wicked, they plan, they plan things out in the open, The scriptures speak about that. I think I got that in Job. It says in Job 5:14, they meet in darkness in the daytime and they grope in the noonday as the night. But he saveth the poor from the sword, from the mouth, from the hand of the mighty. Is that what I wanted? Yeah, but verse 12, I read that the other day, did a lesson on that, where it says he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise, because these people are just they're off the chain, man. Okay, and these banks are actually through, man. Okay, these banks are so leveraged with these bonds that they're holding on to. The bond market got hammered. Okay, and when the bond market gets hammered, that's not good for a lot of the banks. They were speaking about Bank of America. How about Bank of America is probably the largest financial institution, in the United States, maybe even the world. Okay, up there with J.P. Morgan, up there with Citigroup or Citibank. And maybe one or two others. They have so many bonds that they're holding on to that they could easily have a run on the Bank of America. Okay, and so what happens is when the bond market craters and they're sitting on all of these bonds, people start to pull their money out and they have to sell those bonds at a loss. Okay, see what they have right now is an unrealized gain. So if you bought 100,000 and the price dropped 50%, that means you have 50,000 left. Okay, that's a loss, but it's not lost yet until you take the money out. Okay, you haven't lost the money yet until you take the money out. There's still a chance for it to get back up to 100,000. Okay, as long as you don't take the money out. But if people start requesting their money out of the bank, well, then you have to sell those bonds at the loss to pay the people their cash. Okay, and this is what you call a run on the banks, you know. And so this guy already knows the situation, and he sees it. He sees it from afar off, man. You know. But I'll see if I can find another precept and play a little bit more. Shalakia.
What's up, guys? Dabu 7 back at you again. We've got America's most powerful banker telegraphing, I believe, the event that's about to happen.
Oh, wait. We started over.
It's complete, and they do away with fiat. They just stop printing the pennies, minting them.
Yeah.
It's going to start with rounding up 5 cents, and then since the nickel's gone, rounding up 10 cents. When that's gone, rounding up more, and this is going to continue. And there seems to be this event that's on the horizon that we know is in the works. We know that it's going to happen on Trump's card. And he goes on to say, after saying that he don't know if it's going to be 6 months or 6 years, he says, we probably deserve this or need this to happen to wake us up. That we're going to need this for this transition. And see, he's not going to like that. Why? Because he's the head of a bank. The banks, the way that we know them, the way that they operate, will cease to exist. And they won't be the same. He's going to be retired here in not too long. And he just sold $33 million of his shares, which is another signal. He flashed another signal as Warren Buffett retires and steps into the shadows with a record amount of cash. All the signs are there that a huge market event, I call it the economic 9/11, is about to take place. Definitely on Trump's watch.
And on that note, this is Proverbs 12:5. It says, the thoughts of the righteous are right, but the counsels of the wicked are deceit. Okay, so they can signal to their buddies like Warren Buffett. He been saw it. Whatever's about to happen. I saw another economist, I think he's a Yale professor or something, say the end of June is going to be bad. Okay, now you got Jamie Dimon, the JP Morgan CEO, is signaling, look, buy bullets. Okay, why do you have to buy bullets? That, you know what that means? That means nobody gonna have nothing. Okay, that means these banks, the run on them it's more than likely gonna happen, and they're gonna transition you over into a new currency system, and this could even potentially be in a coordinated event. I'll just say that. Bill Gates back in the day, like in 2019, he had a conference called the 201 conference or something like that, where they had an exercise about things that could happen. And you know what? Something very similar happened the next year in 2020. So, but they all knew, the elites knew, they already had, their bunkers. They were already invested into the stocks they needed to be invested into. Bill Gates made $500 million on one trade. Okay. One trade, he made $500 million. Okay. So this is the same MO, man. I think a lot of these elites know. That's why a lot of these CEOs step down, they quit. That's why you have, people coming out about these banks, seeing how they're leveraged. Okay. You have Japan kind of attacking the bond market, which Japan, that's kind of, it's almost, economic suicide, for them to do that, because they're holding so many bonds. I don't know if you can't sell as many before you lose the money on them, and without hurting China as well too, so this could be a giant run, on the banks, which would be through the bond market, which would be ultimately on the US dollar. Okay. It says, verse 6, it says, the words of the wicked are to lie in wait for blood, but the mouth of the upright shall deliver them. Okay? So we're not worried, man. You know, most Jakes, you know, they don't even have it like that anyway. You know, like we're all living paycheck to paycheck anyway, you know. So they're telling you to buy bullets and stock up and do things of that nature. They already know something crazy is getting ready to happen, man. Okay? And Trump has already demonstrated that he don't give a damn. Okay, he got ICE raids popping up everywhere. Okay, he just popping up on Issachar, man. You know our brothers are you know, they're wicked too. You know, they're they hopping in trucks, running. You know, because Trump, he'll lock your ass up even if you're an American citizen, man. He'll lock you up, man. He'll put you in a foreign prison. And he don't give a damn. He's already empowered the police. Why did he say he's going to unleash the power of the police and give them qualified immunity and all of this stuff, or beef up qualified immunity? Because he knows there's about to be civil unrest. Okay, they can blame it on crime and law and order and all of this stuff, but all crime, the vast majority of crime, comes out of poverty, man. It comes out of people just not having it. People leading to stealing, and then stealing leads to violence because people try to protect what's being stolen. Okay. And that's how violence starts. That's the cycle of violence, you know, being broke. And you made sure everybody's broke, okay? And the way you made sure they stayed broke was you put the payday loan places there, okay? You poison their health, their food, all right? You dumb down the education. They don't even know what a dollar is, what it means, you know? They can count, they can read, they can do reading, writing, and arithmetic, enough to take your ass to the plantation and work and build up their wealth, okay? But they don't want smart people here. They don't want wealthy people here. You can't own anything here. You know, this is all by design. And now Americans are slowly starting to wake up, and it's going to go down. It's going to get bloody, okay? And the only ones that are going to emerge out of this spotless are the elect, okay? And I'll get the final precept and end it here. Okay, this is in, I believe it's Revelation, 2. It says, Revelation 2:10, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. All right, and that's going to happen. That's going to go down, okay? They're going to want scapegoats and people to blame. Now, I think it's going to be some kind of attack, and I think Iran is going to be at the center of it on the global stage. And then domestically, you're going to have an excuse to blame a bunch of other people, okay? And who are those going to be? Okay, those are going to be the tribes, okay? All right, and this is where you may see that prophecy in Zechariah come to pass, where Judah shall not vex Ephraim, okay? Or is that Isaiah? Where we squad up, you know, miracles are going to be having to be done, you know. Remember in the days of Acts, man, a lot of Jakes got sealed when they saw those miracles, okay? And so don't be surprised, you know, you go from you having 4 viewers on your video to 400,000, okay? Because people are going to be starved for wisdom, okay? Knowledge is plenty, but there's a lot of deception in knowledge. There's a lot of playing around with knowledge. The real wisdom is void in this place, okay? We're the only light here. We're the only beacon of hope really in the world. They call us the remnant for a reason. Lord willing, I'm of that number, you know. Anyway, ending it here. This is Revelation 2:10. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days, all right, which is a complete number of time. And be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So we're going to make it out of this, okay? We're going to have to go through our hardships, our economic downturns, but we just got to pass this test, man, okay? And then we're going to be good, and the Lord's going to make sure we're taken care of, even in the wilderness, even during our as we're pilgrims, you know, moving from place to place, okay, with no stability, okay? The scriptures say wisdom would be our stability, you know, and the strength of our salvation. So I'll end it there, man. Lord willing, this is edifying. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rachak Shalom. Kwam Yasharallah. On to the next.